honestly just a matter of getting discovered in a way that isn't. What? I thought you quit.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Dubnus Drubbings. And this week, once again, we're going to be revisiting predictions from the previous week and also making some predictions for this week. So, the first match of last weekend, which was weekend 2 of Lanesmash Season 7 2022, Colbert Tones vs Cope. Listen, this match, as you could probably tell, and if you follow Lanesmash in any capacity on the Jaeger Events Discord, you probably saw the announcement that this match was actually basically just rescinded. It's not counted at all, and it's going to have to be replayed this weekend. For those who did watch the match before the now defunct match, it was a 5-1 scoreline, if I remember correctly, and Cohort Terrans, they were able in the first half opener to actually get the neutral, and they held it for a long time, but then even as a direct result of Cope having cheaper aircraft as well as the use of the NC Max shield, not only the use of the shield, but it also glitched out, either intentionally or unintentionally, doesn't really matter, because you still used it, and because of that, combined with the aircraft, you could argue that might have been the main reason why, or main two reasons why Colbert Terrans lost the initiative after winning the opener. So it's been cancelled. It just retrospectively cancelled, and now again we'll have this match again this weekend. They did win it, Cope. They did win the 5-1, so the prediction was correct, and I'll re-predict what will happen this weekend with, of course, one of the key members of Cope being banned, being handed a match ban because of their actions during this match. I still think they'll probably win. They of course being Cope, but Cobalt Terrans, they definitely have the opportunity to either get a draw, well, not a draw, but they could definitely get a win if they have drilled correctly and have practiced enough, because they've been able to learn what Cope really tried to do. Now the next match, again, unfortunately, this one was not played, unlike the Cobalt Terrans vs Cope match, and I think that's a real shame. I think it's very poor form for teams not to play other teams just because they think they might lose. The official reason was they didn't have enough people. I, however, have heard that they didn't turn up because they thought they would lose and therefore couldn't be bothered. I think that's really poor form. I think if you're entering a tournament, you should perhaps try to improve at the format and not just wuss out, basically, which is what I think HKLA did. So although my prediction once again is correct, I'm not happy about it because I don't think that is the right mentality to have. I don't think it's the right attitude. It's definitely not the right approach. And indeed, it's, if I were advising HKLA this season, I would have stepped down as their advisor if that happened, because that is, in my mind, just ridiculous. Because drawing on my own experiences with short stack back in 2020, if we had bitched out and just not played TM in the only group matches that we had, by the way, was basically a best of 3 against TM, right? We had to play 3 matches against them. In the end, we only ended up playing 2, because excuse me, because TM didn't actually played one. That's because they were busy with outfit wars, which I suppose is a natural reason, rather than, oh, we're going to lose, best not turn up. So, if we didn't play those matches as short stack, we wouldn't have learned and grown as a team enough to be able to win the tournament outright like we did in the final. So, I don't think that's the right attitude. I think it's rather poor. And I don't think it helps you grow as a team. And it won't surprise me if that kind of attitude hurts them again this week. But I'll talk more about that when we move on to weekend 3. Sammy versus WFAT. Listen, everyone I think was cheering for Sammy, except for people on the WFAT team. And to be honest, even some WFAT members I think were probably like, let's go Sammy. But again, the prediction was correct. They lost, and they lost 6-0, which is a shame for Sammy, but no surprise. Rally versus Cum, again, another correct prediction. Nothing really more to add. It was expected. There weren't many surprises, I don't think, and it is what it is. Mood versus VCats. VCats did manage to pick up a point. So well done to them, but with that loss now, it pretty much seals their fate in terms of not getting into the playoffs, because they would have to beat Cum, and as I'll explain, I would be shocked if that happens. Okay, moving on then. PTSD versus Toes. Unfortunately for the team that I advised, or the other team I advised, which is of course Toes, they did lose 4-0. Not much of a shock, but it wasn't a 5-0 and it wasn't a 6-0, which I think is quite important to note, because it's quite easy, I think, on lane 5 to lose Zotspire Lab, especially if your outclass is infantry. Although, did they lose Zotspire? Oh, maybe they did lose Zotspire. I can't even remember. But nonetheless, they didn't do too badly. And for that reason, I'm kind of happy. But I mean, if you go back and watch that cast on twitch.tv/PlanetSide Battles, yeah, I wasn't very happy. Not very happy at all. Alright, moving on. This weekend, as you can see, we've actually got 7 matches due to Covert Terrans versus Cope being rescheduled. And let's see if we can't keep that 100% accurate prediction rating going. So, Covert Terrans versus Mood. Covert Terrans should win. If they don't, that'll probably be Covert Terrans out the tournament, in terms of, I don't think, even if they do get into the playoffs, I don't even think Dursa, their FC, would want to continue if they lost to Mood. Mood, Cobalt Terrans, they both come from the same server, so it's a bit of a Cobalt derby game. We'll see, but I would expect Cobalt Terrans to win. It's the same lane that they picked up a point against Copon in their now cancelled match. So they did what Mood couldn't do against Cope, right? So I do expect Cobalt Terrans to win that. Rat versus WFAT. This is going to be a really interesting game to watch, and actually is the one this week which is the most difficult to call. I am going to side with Rat, but not by much. Like I'm talking like 5% extra probability in favour of them, so 55% chance of Rat winning. So it's a high risk prediction, this. I think they will edge it out just because of their Air Force, I think, is better than WFAT's. I think they've got not only a deeper pool of pilots, but also a better, more experienced pool of pilots. I am concerned about Rat's infantry and also their ability to use cheese. I think there's definitely a way for WFAT to win this 2-0, 2-1, or perhaps even 3-1 if WFAT play their cards right. But still have to side with Rat. I don't think we'll see a 6-0 scoreline or something crazy like that. It's going to be a close match. It's going to be hopefully also a good watch. Speaking of good watches, Cope versus Rally, it probably won't be one. In my mind, Rally don't have any chance at all. They lost to Come 5-0, so they should lose to Cope probably 6-0. Depends if Cope turn up with the right attitude and the right approach and the right roster as well. We'll see. But I would expect Cope nonetheless to win. Toes versus HKLA. Toes to win this match actually, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say either 2-1 or 3-0 in favour of Toes. Again, like Rat versus WFAT, this is actually going to be the second most difficult match to call. I'm going to give Toes a 60% chance of winning this one, just because of HKLA's attitude last week. Maybe I don't know how much effort they're going to put into Lanesmash, so it doesn't seem like they're willing to put in a lot. So honestly, I know Toes have probably put more effort into it than HKLA. I think HKLA, as far as I'm aware, according to my sources, they're missing key individuals, and therefore I think Toes will win this match. I might be proven wrong, just like how I might be proven wrong with the Rat versus WFAT match, but we will see. Colbert Terrans versus Cope. Listen, Colbert Terrans, they have a chance. They certainly do. I am going to predict Cope to win, but nonetheless, Colbert Terrans, they do have a slight chance to win because Cope will be missing Azor. They'll be under a lot of scrutiny, I think. Just like Colbert Terrans, they have to play 2 matches, but I think that kind of favours Colbert Terrans more than it favours Cope in terms of Cope obviously playing 2 matches on the same lane, which is the Haka Crown, whilst Colbert Terrans are playing on the same lane twice this weekend, whilst Cope are playing on 2 separate lanes. That is, of course, not to say that Cope don't have the better roster, because they probably do. But they're going to be missing a key figure for them. And whether or not that will hurt them or not, we'll see. And without having cheaper aircraft, I think that's also going to hurt them, because from what I saw in the air, in the first half at least, the reason why Colbert Terrans lost air was because they were out-sustained in nanites. PTSD versus Sammy. Listen, I want Sammy to win, but they won't. PTSD will win that, no doubt. Look, lane 3, perfect for PTSD. It's probably one of their best lanes, to be honest with you. And Sammy, you've just got no chance, unfortunately. Yeah, good luck, have fun. Cum versus VCats again. I don't think VCats have much of a chance unless Cum fuck up. There are some roster changes for Cum this weekend. Just because some people can't make it and whatnot. But still, with that being said, I don't expect VCats to win. So there's a quick run through of my predictions once again this week. Honestly, the WFAT Rat game and the Toes HKLA game, and perhaps even the Colbert Terrans versus Cope game, my predictions, I think they're the most shaky, those 3 this season. So make sure to tune in and see if I'm right or wrong. Regardless, I hope you will have a good weekend, and yeah, goodbye.